Olá, eu sou Moisés Esagui e hoje é o 5º dia de Aprenda sobre o Comportamento Humano.
Hello, I'm Moisés Esagui. Today is the 5th day of Learn About Human Behavior. Today we are going to talk about our difficulties in relationships with ourselves and with people around us. To do this, we have to address some issues that are part of our life's journey. A person who has better living conditions and more resources, like having the father providing the basic needs, such as food, clothing, education, affection too. Who has a better understanding of the father-son relationship. This person will obviously have more inner resources even to deal with the organization of their own ego. Who experiences a lot of deprivation, for example related to food, you know. When they can't eat much otherwise there won't be enough. When they have no conditions to study, their parents are ignorant. Instead of educating through talking, common sense or guidance, some parents shout a lot and are physically violent. It's obvious that their child will have more difficulties. According to the level of defenses we need to create to survive, we will find it easier or not to have nice relationships. Who needs to be very defensive all the time is also not very open to the world. They don't accept things happily. It's also obvious that someone, even having a good financial condition, if they are spoilt, they lose the ability to look after themselves. They can't take care of themselves. They can't because they haven't learned. Someone in this condition surely becomes spoilt. Others need to look after them, obey them, and their needs have to be met. If these needs and desires aren't met, they become angry. I think that's not a very good situation. A spoilt person is not really a happy person. They will learn in life, if they meet assertive people, that they need to change this behavior. So, we are talking about the beginning of our life, when our personality is really formed and we add information that will help us in the future. This initial information from the first years of our life, from 0 to 7 years old, from 7 to 14 years old, they are moments we are more open to accept new information, and important for our relationships too. That is, if you have affectionate parents who have a healthy interaction with each other and other people, you'll learn this type of relationship. So, your defensive and emotional systems won't be a big obstacle to overcome in situations you really need to take some action. Your attitudes will be much simpler, more coherent and also much more efficient. I think we can find out whether we have difficulties or not by observing ourselves in our daily life. This is an important thing. How do you relate to yourself? Are you in a permanent state of conflict? Afraid of something? Do you have physical reactions or somatizations? For example, when you meet new people, do you have difficulties? When you go to school, your first day at school, what is it like? Are you afraid? How does it work for you? Do you have difficulties or guilt regarding your sexual behavior? Do you have difficulties or guilt regarding your family relationships? Are you competitive? Do you think being competitive is a good idea? What are you like? We have to search these answers inside ourselves with sincerity, to know that the best relationship always begins within ourselves, when we don't have constant internal dialogues, like when you keep thinking about something, constantly inferring. Persecutory worry, when you always think there's somebody coming after you. Or even that feeling when you're doing something, you do it as if you were not participating in that. Do you have this feeling? It's a good idea to analyze yourself so that in this way, we can make a healthy and happy path. There are people who constantly feel they are being followed by somebody, or being controlled, or think that others want to dominate them. In fact, these processes have started in their childhood and they suffer the consequences today. It's important to be happy, well, relaxed, not in a constant state of tension. How do you sleep? Do you sleep well, or not? All these things are what we are. What we are is what affects our relationship with other people. Knowing this, it's good to have a sincere analysis of our behaviors. Anger is not normal. Aggressiveness is not normal. Revenge is not normal. Resentment is not normal. If you take all those negative characteristics we bless with our own excuses. Yes, we do that. I was angry, but everybody can be. Or, I took something from someone but everybody does it. That's not how life works. Or, I cheated because everybody cheats too. I do drugs because everybody does. We make quite incoherent excuses for what is really normal. What I just mentioned is common, not normal. You make mistakes because you really aren't able to analyze, face, and organize yourself internally, to make a path with enlightenment and coherence. We need to learn how to do that to be happy, otherwise you spend your life in a permanent negative condition, fearful. This way, you get nowhere. We only get somewhere when we know the way, not when we know where we want to go. It's when we know the path we have to take. I always say there's no place of arrival. Our story is a journey, and this journey is all we have to know. The path is infinite, no matter what you do. You tell me, I want to be an engineer, I will study engineering. Yes, this is your journey. Being an engineer is not the end of the story for anybody. You are just practicing this. You can't say you are this. That's my point of view. Observe yourself and think about some things I'm going to tell you. Check it out. Do you feel you are detached from reality? What is this? Your life runs in parallel. You always do things in a different world, a parallel one. Always suggesting fantasies, with very high expectations. Then you constitute your life far from the reality you live. This is detachment from reality. You also need to evaluate how you work in your affective part. Do you have inner emotional conflicts? Do you have difficulty in dealing with other people or with your partner? Affective conflicts in relationships need to be analyzed. They can be solved to a certain point. After that they can become irreconcilable and become a torment in our life. So you need to analyze it with sincerity. How is your family relationship? Do you get along well with your family? Can you accept your father? Can you accept your mother? Can you accept your siblings? It's good to review this, because what makes up the personality of the father or mother are often more than what we can understand to have a sincere acceptance. One can even say, he is my father, I like him. But suddenly you have a hard time dealing with him. Or with your mother too. It's the way she dresses, the way she talks. It's the smell of the person. There are many items to consider in a human being. How they behave. In fact, we have to learn how to deal with all these things, because when we can't handle it, it means we are emotionally involved with a situation or someone. Because of that, everything affects you. That is, if they make a mistake, it's like you made. If they offend someone, it's like you had to. You get upset with the person because you are glued to them, without any individualization, which is the ideal point of life. Deal with people without getting involved and know your own space of activity. Delimiting this is very important to be happy. We are talking about relationship and human behavior. Today is our 5th day of work, and we really expect that this work can be useful for you in your daily life. I think it's a good idea. Maybe I've already said in other videos, you should make a list of things that bother you. Your inner things that bother you. Your fears, things you can't do. If you are shy, your shyness. Why do you have difficulty presenting anything in a meeting, or at school, for example? This is fundamental. How do you behave when you read a book? Can you keep focused? This is good. If you can, it's very healthy for you, because you will then conduct your life in a more organized way. When we overcome our internal difficulties through an effort to organize our ego, we are solving our external issues too. Nothing begins outside, but inside us, the way we receive things. Then it's important to analyze ourselves, to review everything that annoys us. Don't make exceptions, or think it's not important. Try to do things in a coherent way. I hope the content of our conversation today brings you some benefit. We will continue our work. Learn about human behavior. You can find the address of our website and our social networks in the description of this video. Check our content, and you can talk to us too. We can answer your questions. We welcome you. This is the idea of the Center for Consciousness Studies. Feel free to join us in our work, send emails, ask questions, and join the groups we have all over the world. If you want to form a study group, a group that will be accompanied by us, we can help you with the utmost care, because this is our proposal, to be much better than what we were the day before. Contact us and we let you know how to have a study group. We will be with you. Visit our website and follow us on social networks. I'll be waiting for you.
Would you like to participate in a work of energy giving from afar that is benefiting thousands of people? Click on the link below for more information.